G'day folks. Today I'm going to look at whether PulseChain is a ghost chain or whether there's anything investable on it aside of course from PulseChain, PulseX and Hex. So in one of my previous videos, this would have been in November or December, I went through my crypto power rankings and I had in spots 1 to 3 PulseChain, PulseX and Hex. So naturally I'm a Richard Heart project advocate, but today I really want to deep dive into, well, what are some of the projects on PulseChain and are any of them investable? So, and I can also add on top of that, and I won't go through these projects today, that I'm also a fan of the Maximus projects and also Hedron and Icosa. But having mentioned them previously, I don't really want to deep dive into them further today. I'm just going to call them alongside the likes of PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex's ticks. So the first project I want to explore today, and this has actually been my best performer over the last month, is the Graze currency on PulseChain. So pTGC. Definitely worth a look, and I'll explain why now. So you've got here the numbers that are staked and the numbers that are locked. But that won't mean anything until I go into it a bit further. And you've got here, so this is a staking currency where essentially you can stake to earn interest and you can also time lock to earn more interest. So if your funds are locked, you're earning more, which is terrific. So that's a bonus, but it is liquid staking and you do have the opportunity to withdraw. So having that flexibility is certainly a bonus. But the real winner with the Graze currency is that not only do you earn staking rewards, but it's a deflationary currency. So that's terrific. And over time, assuming sort of that buy and sell pressure remains sort of roughly even over time, you can expect prices to be going up. So, and if we go into the stats, we can see the supply distribution. So you've got here how much has been burnt. So of course that number's going up. So that's terrific there. But we've also got here the supply distribution. So you've got the greatest majority is staked and locked because it seems like a lot of people are pretty keen to get the maximum rewards in pTGC. You've got the staked amount. So if you add both staked amounts up, well, you're well over 65%. So that's terrific. So yeah, that's already 2/3 of the supply. You've got here a fair bit that's been burnt already, which is terrific for a fairly new project. You've got this much liquid in the liquidity pool, and you've also got this much held. So to me, they're pretty solid looking numbers. And again, to further show the extent to the deflationary, I guess, opportunity within the Graze currency on PulseChain, well, we're expecting over the next 6 months, and this is projected, no guarantees here, but a rough estimate would be that we're going to have deflationary over 22%. So that's pretty cool to say the least, if we can manage those sorts of numbers. So even simply by holding, your proportion of the Graze currency on PulseChain is increasing. And if you're staking or even better time locking, your amount of that total supply is increasing at an even greater rate. So what gives pTGC value? Well, it's a type of reflection token, but don't let that scare you. What's key is the amount of liquidity. So there's taxes with buys and sells. That's where the interest is earned. You have to find a way to earn interest. But if we go into, I'll show you first the price chart. So this is against Wrapped Pulse, and we can see that it's been a performer to say the least. So if you're holding Pulse, well, you're not earning interest on it. But with pTGC, you are if you're staked, and even more, of course, if you're locked. So you've had a not quite only up price chart, but certainly a price chart that's been going up. So that's a positive. But what really makes it run and makes it run so successfully is the amount of liquidity. So here you've got over 500 mil of liquidity between pTGC and Wrapped Pulse. So terrific numbers, but it's not the only pair that has solid liquidity. And the founder and spokesperson of the Graze currency, Coach X, really he's been speaking about the Graze currency in the context of it's something like an S&P 500, where essentially it's tied to everything and having this much liquidity. So essentially, if one project within PulseChain goes up, well, you're going to have the Grays currency follow. So that's really a key to be well aware of. And you can see that these are really solid liquidity numbers. So you're not really going to be able to sell down the price. And with the sheer amount of buy and burn mechanisms within the Grays currency, if you research it further, well, there's a lot of buying power within it. So with buy and burn, with staking rewards, deflationary currency, they're the sort of things that should see your eyes light up. And really, I shouldn't really say it this way, but it's almost a competitor to Hex. It's a genuine competitor to Hex, where of course Hex, you're beating the rate of inflation if you're staking, so that's the key. But here you've got deflationary with earning interest. So ultimately for me as a Hexican, I'm not afraid of pTGC because you've got the liquidity pair where if this performs, that'll perform and vice versa. But I do look at it as another highly investable project, and for me, if I'm to look beyond simply the likes of PulseChain, PulseX, Hex, the Maximus projects, and you've got obviously Hedron and Icosa, I would actually have the Grays currency on PulseChain as my number one, I guess, other project that isn't strictly a Richard Hart or Richard Hart related project. So I'm actually going to go that far and make that statement. No financial advice, but do look into it if the idea of something deflationary that also earns you yield is something that appeals to you. It's certainly something for me as a real DeFi investor that certainly tickles my fancy. So the next project I wanted to show you is Alien. So this is another good one here, and you've got, again, further buy and burn, but it also works almost in partnership, I suppose, with the Grays currency, or pTGC. I always find it hard saying those letters in sequence, so apologies if I'm saying it on the slower side. But essentially here, so you can read through it, but here's the keys with the tokenomics. So you've got buy and burn mechanisms, so these are the things that it's burning and at what rate, and here are the rewards. So essentially it's another reflection token, but you're earning pTGC, and you're also earning 808, burn, and liquid. So, and if you don't value these other currencies, that's cool. You can just sell them, and you can sell them whether it's for more the Grays currency or whether it's for more Pulse. Totally up to you what you do. But there's some of the opportunities within it, and you'll find that certainly compared to the Grays currency, it is smaller cap, but that is totally all right. But it is another pretty good performer if you go into the charts. So I've got here, of course, compared to Wrapped Pulse, well, yeah, price chart go up. And of course, having that correlation and earning the Grays currency on PulseChain, well, you're going to be seeing pretty good numbers. And to, again, show the liquidity, so that's a good amount of liquidity. So that's looking good to me with that Wrapped Pulse pair. So yeah, if I was doing any trade, if I wanted to get out of it for whatever reason, well, yeah, you just go straight to Pulse. So that is an option. But again, being that sort of tax token, well, yeah, you are sort of, paying tax coming in, paying tax going out. So yeah, they're the things to be aware of, but certainly it's a profitable passive income type thing. And again, having those burn mechanisms, well, deflating in supply and earning yield, well, they're the sort of things that I like. So yeah, it's fair to say that Alien is another position that I do hold and do value. Next up, I wanted to talk about T.I.M.E. So when I'm talking about strictly earning PulseChain yield, this is my favorite opportunity. And you can probably get a bit of a hint here that I'm an internet money wallet person. So basically by holding the T.I.M.E. token on PulseChain, and it's much more profitable on PulseChain than any other chain at this stage, because ultimately it hasn't been that widely adopted by people on other chains. But with enough sort of internet money wallet users on PulseChain, well, the dividends that you're earning in Pulse are actually very good. So, but you've got here, these are the chains that it's on. For me, just internet money wallet is my main wallet. I do prefer it to the other alternatives out there. But yeah, if you're looking for for a MetaMask sort of alternative, internet money is a good one. And essentially, I see it as by holding time and using the internet money wallet, you are the bank essentially, because you are earning that native token. And as a bonus as well, I don't know if the information's here, but to go through it very quickly, you're actually buying and burning hex as well. So, yeah, that's the cool thing. Any transaction done on the Internet Money wallet, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but of the transactions done, there's a buy and burn on hex as well. So if you're a Hexagon, this is the wallet you should be using because essentially you're helping your bag. And if you're a Pulseagon and you want to be earning that passive income as Pulse, well, again, you should be using the Internet Money wallet, and you should be holding time to earn that passive income. So, and again, very good price chart if you have a look at it. It has been another performer, and as with certainly the Gray's Currency and Alien, it has been really terrific. So you've got here really good liquidity, but let's check out the price chart compared to Pulse. So we've had another price chart that's been, for the most part, going up and been pretty solid. So, yeah, you can see basically what's been happening over time. So again, performer, if you want that passive income on Pulse, this is my favorite. Again, no financial advice, but yeah, it is dependent on more people adopting the Internet Money wallet and doing swaps using the Internet Money wallet. So, but yeah, certainly is, yeah, a Richard Hart person, someone wanting that Pulse as passive income, wanting that buy and burn on Hex to sort of help my own position. Well, hey, this is certainly for me. And yeah, if you're into the Richard Hart coins, maybe it's for you, but yeah, do your own research. And in addition, you've got internet money. So made by the same creators. It does have that sort of buy and burn mechanic as well. But essentially, it's just like a swapping token. So it's just like as it says here, peer-to-peer digital cash. That's essentially what its purpose is. So you're not going to be earning Pulse by holding it. You're not going to be earning Hex by holding it. So as a result, T.I.M.E is certainly on the Internet Money sort of ecosystem my favorite, and specifically when held on the PulseChain. But yeah, certainly investable projects, and yeah, I have no issue supporting sort of Internet Money as well. Another solid project, and really it achieves its purpose. So next up, I wanted to go through Blaster. So again, this is another, I guess, opportunity to earn more Pulse. And it is, I guess, an Elon Musk meme type thing, if you want to call it that. So you've got here the about. So you've got the story. That's when it was created by Musk. And you can actually play the game on here if you want to try that. That's up to you. But then you've got the tokenomics. So you've got, here's the supply. Anyone can hold a max of 1%. There's a buy tax, there's a sell tax. So they're the things to be aware of. And through those mechanisms, well, that's how you're earning yield in Pulse. So yeah, essentially it's one of many ways to earn passive income on PulseChain. So yeah, and the more buying and selling that happens, well, obviously the better off you'll be going. So yeah, it's one opportunity. I'm not going to say it's better than Time Dividend, but yeah, add it to your watch list, do your own investigation, and see if it's for you. Next up, I wanted to go through Up and UPX. So basically, these are designed to outperform PulseChain. So you've got your buy and burn mechanics, and it uses liquid loans to leverage its position to try and increase its bag, essentially. So yeah, it's quite clever. You can read further about it if it interests you. So you've got the UP token and also UPX. So UPX here is essentially, I believe it's just a fork on the UP token, but with a few different sort of things. And it also has some PulseX within it as well. So yeah, both are very investable, and we'll see over time if they happen to outperform the likes of Pulse and PulseX. But yeah, starting out, they certainly do have that price premium compared to Pulse and PulseX. So we'll see yeah, how those positions sort of end up. But it's, I guess if you're in, say, the Titan X ecosystem, you could almost see these as the equivalent of a Dragon X in a respect, where essentially it's a leverage play where you're looking to really sort of outperform from a growth perspective. So, but it's using the liquid loans protocol, which again, another sort of investable opportunity where you can, yeah, essentially get interest-free loans to increase your position in Pulse. So there are various strategies involved. You can research into them further, and some are certainly very viable. So no recommendations to utilize liquid loans. You need to know your own risk profile, but yeah, if you do believe from here on in PulseChain will be mostly up, well, there are some opportunities within liquid loans to increase your position and yeah, maybe even compound your position on PulseChain. So there are some interesting opportunities. And we've also got some graphics here that you can go through on their website in your own time as to how it works. But they do have their own stable coin on here as well, which is part of the magic to give you a little bit of a spoiler if you want to investigate further. So next up, so Pulse Reflections. So another opportunity, and you've got here, holders earn 2% of all buy and sell transactions in Pulse. So essentially it's just a tax token. So if you hold, you're going to earn interest over time. And really the more, I guess, buying and selling that happens of this token, well, the more that you're the beneficiary. So yeah, it's just another of those tax tokens where, again, if you want to earn some yield in Pulse, well, this is one of several ways to do so. And you've got here as well a fee burning aspect as well, which is also a positive. And you've got here the tokenomics. You can read through that in your own time. Again, I'm just giving the very bare basics to, I guess, give you some awareness of some of these projects, and you can explore them further. So next up, we've got PulseLorian. And there's several products within this ecosystem, and you can really see what all of them are about. To give you a few of my favorites top of mind, so you've got Reflux, you've got Vortex, you've got Caviar, and Groku as well. These are the ones I'm a fan of, but it doesn't mean that there's not others on here that could also be useful. So you've got here Reflux, and you can see the tokenomics if you go into it. So here we go. So here's the features. So you can read through these in your own time. So you've got, there's the features. You've got here Vortex. And again, you've got your features here. So you've essentially got all these various fee burn mechanisms, and you're receiving a passive income by holding, essentially. So if you want to earn some PulseX, Vortex is one to consider. Caviar, this is your opportunity to earn Hex passive income. So there's obviously no stake. Again, you've just got, so you've got here fixed supply, 21 mil. You've got your fees with your buy and burns. Fees, you're earning income. So yeah, another of those sort of, I guess, tax tokens, if you want to call it that. And then Groku is another play on, what was the other PulseX one? So it's a bit of a play on Vortex, I suppose. So this is an interesting one too. So you've got, there's your supply, you've got your buy and burns, and essentially you're trying to get more Vortex from here, and then that'll earn you more PulseX. So yeah, they're just a few plays within PulseLorian. Not saying that this is the best investment overall, but it's another one to certainly be aware of and consider, because there are opportunities where if you've got something deflationary, you're earning interest. You've got your sort of buy and sell taxes. It's another sort of reflection token with some scope. Next up, I want to go through some more, I guess, you can call them hex alternatives if you want, but really they're just, I guess, your yielding opportunities within PulseChain. So you've got the Texan token. You've also got access to this on Ethereum as well, where you can buy it. But on PulseChain, look, you've got cheaper buys, sells, transactions, all that. So for me, it makes a bit more sense using Texan token on PulseChain personally. But you can see what they're about, but essentially they're an endowment token. And essentially by staking, you receive staking rewards. And the longer that you stake, the more rewards you get. That's really the quick and dirty on what it's about. So there is a maximum supply. So you have a total supply, a certain amount of it locked. So we do know what the total maximum supply is. And you are over time earning interest on it as well. So immutable contract. And I guess the benefit of this compared to, let's say, a Hex as an example, Hex being an easy example because most of you, I imagine, watching this video will be all over Hex. You can actually scrape the interest that you earn, meaning that over time, let's say after a year, you've earned such and such amount of interest. Well, you can actually take that interest with you, and then you can choose whether you want to sell it for a profit. So that's a way you can do that, or you can just simply keep it in the stake. It'll keep earning you interest over time. So you've got those sort of options within it. So I guess it gives you that little bit of extra flexibility, but it has actually been a recent price performer. So if we go Texan, so it has had a few good days of late. So again, this is compared to Pulse. So hasn't been certainly an up-only chart, but it has, as you can see, performed fairly well in recent times. So for me, as sort of an early staker, I don't mind that it's been performing quite well. And another token that's really the same thing as Texan, but it's only accessible on PulseChain, and it's a smaller cap one as well, given it came second. You've got Ophir. So you can read about what they're about and I guess what their purposes are. But essentially, yeah, same product. You can see basically the same sort of tokenomics. There's not really too much different here. But again, you can buy it on PulseChain. So yeah, certainly one to be aware of. And you might feel you sort of associate more with the Texan mission, or you might associate more with the Ophir mission. So totally up to you what you get into. But yeah, Ophir is a bit cheaper, so that might at this stage be a play. But yeah, they're just, I guess, other sort of staking opportunities within PulseChain that, again, have solid tokenomics. And this is the thing with all the projects I'm going through today. They've got solid tokenomics where a lot of them are deflationary. If they're not deflationary, they've got fixed maximum supplies, and you're earning yield on the vast majority of these. Or if you're not, then they're sort of leverage plays that should achieve really good growth over time compared to, say, a PulseChain or PulseX. So they're the sort of things that you're looking at there. And Warren Finance. So this is one where I'm going to call it in the slightly higher risk category. It's really a play on liquidity, if you want to call it that. But you're earning fixed yield. So if you bond, essentially you're earning 40%. I believe it's roughly 40%, but you could do the 40 days. But what I've found is most profitable is staking. So anytime you stake, you're earning a guaranteed 175% in Warren. And you've got your base yield here, which is 2%. And essentially, these yields here will determine how quick these periods end. And then it's basically, over time, you'll get your Warren that accumulates here. But you've got a liquidity bonus. This might be somewhere around roughly sort of 0.7, 0.8 at the time of producing this video. Hold bonus, so the longer you hold, essentially the more it boosts. So you can see here every 24 hours you get another 0.05%. And you've also got personal bonus as well. So basically the more that you've got here, well, the more or the quicker that you're earning. And you've got your daily income, which will be sort of accumulating these numbers, what they'll be. So yours at home, maybe if you've held for a few days for the bonus, it might be around that 3% figure. But it'll be starting from something like 2.7% interest roughly. So you'll be earning at roughly that pace. And then, yeah, once you've got your 175%, then you'll have an ended stake. So it's something where you can just keep compounding on itself. And look, you do have opportunities to sell, but when you do sell, your whole bonus drops back. So that's the thing to be aware of. But yeah, it's a compounding game essentially, and it's an interest earning opportunity. And with Warren, it's also got an interesting price chart. So you've actually only got one pair in which you can buy and sell, which is the PLP pair. And as you can see, it's a curious up-only chart. So it's not every day that you see this. So it's a bit like the Hex T-share chart, I suppose, if you want to think of it that way. But if we look at the PLP against Pulse, so you can see that, again, it's actually performed quite well. So whether this will be something successful over the long term, who knows? Not a heap of liquidity there, so that's the thing to be mindful of. But it does have okay enough price performance where you're not really losing out a heap against Pulse. So yeah, Warren's doing reasonably solidly, but yeah, basically you're earning a fixed high yield, and yeah, it's all just down to the liquidity of this wrapped Pulse pair. So and again, as that liquidity gains, well, you're getting more in this liquidity bonus, and yeah, it's just a compounding game. So yeah, feel free to play it if you like, research it more. It's certainly an interesting project. But yeah, whether it's long-term sustainable as much as a few of the others, that's my relative question. But yeah, certainly, again, another project I'm in, and yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes over time. Next one, this one's only come out as of a few days ago, but here we've got, so ZKZX. So essentially this is a tornado cash fork. So for any of you that are, I guess, looking for that, I guess, privacy within PulseChain, well, here's your opportunity to do that. So if we go into the price chart very quickly, well, certainly at the time of making this video, it has gone, I'll have to even check what the letters are, ZX. So it's had a good start. So for those that have an interest, and you've got small market cap. So 1.5 mil market cap for a tornado cash type thing. So yeah, there's some scope within it, but we'll have to see whether, I guess, there's that demand for the technology on PulseChain. So as far as I'm aware, like, I haven't researched too heavily into this, but yeah, it's, as far as I'm aware, it has a fixed maximum supply. Correct me at home if I'm wrong. And yeah, it's not going to earn you yield or anything. So essentially it's just you're betting on it growing. But again, has a use case, could be useful for some of you at home. For me, I'm not too fussed about privacy coins. I don't have a need to use it. But that doesn't mean that there won't be people that might value this potentially at home. So yeah, if you think that 1.5 mil market cap is pretty good, and you can see the growth actually over the last 24 hours has been nuts. So yeah, and at the time of the video, look, I'll be posting this sort of the next day, so you'll get this a day later, so we'll see how the price action has gone. And I'm not going to recommend anyone at home buy this, but yeah, it's just up to you to determine whether it's a good use case. It's certainly trending #1 on Dex Screener for PulseChain, so yeah, maybe it's a project to watch, but yeah, up to you at home to do your research there. I also want to talk about SparkSwap. You've got the Sparkler here. Essentially, you've got all these liquidity pools that have good yields. So obviously I don't have my wallet connected here, but you've got the Sparked Pulse pair. You can earn pretty good APR. You've got various other pairs, and you've also got the Sparkler, where essentially you can yeah, buy some Spark. You can yeah, stake it. You can harvest your rewards, and then you can yeah, put it into the farms and then earn more Spark. So there's different ways to recycle your profits, a bit like with Warren, where you can always take out funds and convert them. But yeah, and I'd put this a bit like with Warren in the sort of relatively higher risk basket. But yeah, look, Spark I think is fairly reasonably priced, and it's something where, look, you can consider at home if you want to play that sort of liquidity game. So here you go, huge liquidity, 1.8 mil. And not going to say that it's going to grow at the pace of Pulse. If I'm to hazard a guess, it probably will decrease against the price of Pulse. But yeah, essentially you're playing the game of trying to earn rewards. And look, you've only got a 2.4 mil market cap. So to hazard a guess, again, nothing in this video is financial advice. This certainly isn't. But I would expect this market cap to increase. And yeah, you're probably going to get your supply increases. I haven't looked too deep into the tokenomics of SparkSwap, but again, another project to research, look into. I'm just really giving a very, very basic overview of there are projects on PulseChain that are investable, and it's up to you to determine which of these, if any of these, are investable for your personal circumstances. And for a meme coin, because a lot of you at home like meme coins, I'm not going to advise buying this necessarily. But if I had to pick a useless meme coin on PulseChain that could do, I don't know, whether it's your Shiba Inu type things, Teddy Bear is probably the one that I would deem most likely to succeed, if you want to call it that. So you've got your tokenomics, you've got your supply, no buy and sell taxes, there's no yield on it. So it's sort of one of those meme coins, a bit like SHIB, where it's not doing anything for you. So therefore, at least for me, if I'm to put funds in Teddy Bear, I'm probably not going to put as much funds into Teddy Bear as I would in, say, pTGC. But if you look at the liquidity, this is why I say that, look, if I had to be at a useless meme coin, this is probably the one that I would be in. Here we go. So 1.1 mil liquidity between Teddy Bear and Wrapped Pulse. So that's a lot. So, and you've also got a generous number of other liquidity pairs that are good too. So you've got a Troper. So you've got a fair few of them here. So look, having that sort of liquidity on it, look, I think it's probably going to be the better of the, I guess, useless meme coins, again, to call it that. So, and to look at its performance against Pulse, I think it's actually had a few good days of late. There we go. So we've had a bit of an upward price chart. Market cap is actually quite reasonable in size. So personally, for me as an investor, look, if you've got a market cap of this compared to some more, I guess, useful, if you want to call it that, other coins that are lower cap, I'm probably not going to invest in a Teddy Bear. I'm just not into meme coins. I like my yield. I'm a cash flow investor. So naturally, I'll be more predisposed to invest in something like the Gray's currency on PulseChain, or get a sizable position in T.I.M.E. They're the sort of things that resonate with me more personally. But yeah, look, today I just wanted to, I guess, give you awareness that there are projects on PulseChain other than just simply PulseX and Hex that are useful and that are investable. I'm not saying all of these are investable, not saying all of them will outperform PulseChain, PulseX, Hex. Maybe a few of them do. Maybe the Gray's currency does. That certainly can't be ruled out. And if you've got, with time, well, if more people start using the internet money wallet, well, hey, maybe it does outperform PulseChain, particularly for those that are wanting that yield on PulseChain. So there's a few opportunities. uPX, well, they could outperform. So and there's others where, look, you're earning a yield. So for those that are after yield, well, there's certainly opportunities. So with PulseChain, in summary, what I'm saying is this is real DeFi, folks. And if you're really into DeFi and you want these low cap opportunities that have scope to outgrow a lot of the projects that are on, let's say, ETH or other more established ecosystems, well, I think there's great opportunity personally on PulseChain. Again, no financial advice. This is just my personal opinion. I'm just some bloke on the internet who may or may not know anything, or may not make gains this this, I guess, upcoming bull market. So we'll have to see. Fingers crossed a lot of these projects go off. I'm not a holder of all of these projects, but I'm certainly a holder of most of these projects. So do be mindful of that. There are those natural biases, I suppose, in the success of these. But yeah, if there's any projects on PulseChain that I've missed that you're particularly bullish on, let me know in the comments section below. What are those projects and what's the use case of those projects? This isn't by any means a comprehensive look at every project on PulseChain. I'd be here all day if I did. But I just wanted to go through, I guess, some of those that I consider to be more investable, I suppose, than others. So, and there are other projects I'm invested in on PulseChain that I didn't list today. And yeah, I just wanted to do, I guess, a best of PulseChain, I suppose. Where, look, again, I could have also covered the Maximus coins. I could have covered Hedron and Icosa. But yeah, I just want to give you a taste on PulseChain that there is more than just Pulse, PulseX, and Hex. If I've achieved that objective and opened your eyes to the fact that there is more than just the Richard Hart projects, and not saying that any of these are necessarily better or will outperform, but investable, yes. I believe that a number of these projects have scope to make gains, no guarantee, but again, my personal opinion. If you enjoy this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future updates. And if there's a particular project you want me to go deep on, do let me know. And if this video outperforms other videos that I've made, well, maybe I'll do more deep dives into PulseChain and into some of the Richard Hart projects. Really, ultimately, the videos I make will depend on the demand I get from all of you at home. So, but yeah, hope you enjoyed, and yeah, see you in the next video. And my plan for my upcoming video is I'm going to really, I guess, give my own macroeconomic outlook, really talk about some of the people that I follow in terms of, I guess, the macro landscape, and really do my own predictions as to how the next few years will look like in investing. So which sectors will do well, when we can expect an everything crash, and I guess what the timeline is for me with when I'm looking to not only get into projects, but also look to get out. Because ultimately, look, you do need to take gains at some stage, and yeah, I'll go through some of those things among others. So yeah, hope that's of interest to some people. But yeah, predominantly this is going to be a crypto channel because yeah, I believe that the greatest gains over the next few years will be in crypto, and certainly for me, with my own financial objectives, it vibes best with what I'm looking to achieve. So yeah, that's why you'll get predominantly crypto content, but maybe with a sprinkling of real estate, maybe stocks, but yeah, I'll mostly be looking where I believe the greatest profits will be. But yeah, anyway, folks, see you in the next video.